All right, all you devils out there, happy Friday. Oh, let's see. We've got a pretty good lineup here. I'm going to look at Bitcoin in some detail here. I've got some interesting adjustments, if you will, right, to our count that I think make this whole scenario here in this correction here much more palatable. Interesting. We'll get to that shortly. But right here, let's just start on the weekly, right? I mean, this is well, you've heard me say many times, right? The Elliott Wave is most easily observed on a higher time frame. So here we look at a weekly. Somebody want to sell that? Well, certainly there will be, right? Fucking Peter Schiff or whomever, right? Some of these relentless crypto bears may be looking at this as just a liquidity event, right? We come up here, we're going to sweep the high. I think a new high here is, well, nothing's inevitable, but high probability that we're going to get a new high. Now, how far do we go here? All right, do we something typical, traditional here, as I've done for the last over a month or so now. This is election day to inauguration. This is a wild card. I don't think anybody can predict what's going to happen in there. But the direction here seems to be, we don't want to fill that in with your mind, right? But certainly, it's hard to argue with that. Okay, now market's under no obligation to complete this. It's never is, right? It's going to do what it's going to do, but I would certainly not want to be short. Okay, so with that said, now a couple of things just to note here, right? We've for a long wait. So when did this happen? This is April 22nd of 24. Long, right? All through all of this just crossed. This is Ichimoku right here. It's kind of, actually, I like this, right? Because you don't have to have all the craziness on the chart that goes with an Ichimoku. But so I can see here that we've crossed the cloud, right? So it's bullish, 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 bullish. We go into 100, 150, 130, 100. Let's get through crazy town. So there it is, right? I think now there's a fairly good case here that we're going to take a look at a scenario here that put the 4 over here. As many have done it, right? And I've been reluctant to do it. And just here, let's go take a look here. Now, I'm going to start with what we've been looking at here, and then we'll push over to. Give me a sec here. I'll get it up. Okay, I'm over on BloFin, right? As you guys know, this is our sponsor here, so we encourage you. If you're looking for an exchange, right? If you want to diversify, this is a very good one. We're very happy with them. And lots of perks, and it's typical, right? They got to incentivize you to trade there. So they certainly are doing their part to give you those incentives. Right? If you're interested and you're looking for an exchange, again, diversification or whatever the scenario might be, right? It's no KYC. It's a solid exchange, but I won't dwell on that. But I'm going to do where I can. I'm going to do the TA on BloFin. So okay, well here's what we've been wrestling with. There's just traditional candles. Okay, the 4's in here. We're going to do this as a Diag. So 3. It looks like we're going to do a zigzag here. After a lot of back and forth, this can be interpreted multiple different ways, but again, right, price is truth. So I think this is a solid. We certainly there's a very solid contender for an impulse here. 3 into the correction. I don't think that's in dispute, and it certainly looks like we're doing another impulse here. What have I got? An 8 hour. Let's go to a 4 here because we did have this little wonkiness here where we had a double liquidity event. They purged the highs and the lows. And I think you can probably, let's go to a 1. You probably work this as a triangle. 3, 4, 5 of 3. It's hard to work around that, right? You've got a completed impulse here, but then you go into this craziness here. So it looks like A, B, C, D, E would get that done. And now 1, 2, well, still looks like we're pushing higher. We have not hit. Let's bring these over for scale. We've not gotten to the algo target right here, right from this 50, right? There's an algo that will stay long till it gets there. Now remember, hitting an algo target is not a sell signal. It's just, it's a take profit location for these guys. So it looks like, I might, since I'm at a log here, which I always prefer to be. Oh, where'd you go? Right. It just makes the TA easier. Right. So let's just nice, a regression channel here, 2 standard deviations on either side of the midline. Looks like we're progressing, right? Certainly, it would be hard to argue with path of least resistance being higher. Here's our all-time high. Looks like if this is going to go as a 1, let's get in there a little deeper. If this is going to go as a 1, 2, 1, 2, it's a perfect 50. Why would you think anything less? Let's see, let's do it here. If this is the 1, let's get our GZ on here, right? So right to the 50, got the first target. as they almost always do. 1, 2. Well, that's not likely to be 3. Could be, right? But boom, a little front run here. Got target, right? Are we going to get up to that third one? Well, note the third one and the algo target awfully close together. 3, 4, 5 to get to the new high. Maybe these come down a little bit here, and we get our third here, so we get our true zigzag. Oh, if I go, let's go to a 2. Oh, I think you guys get the drift of it here. From this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, working on that 5 to give us to complete the second impulse of the zigzag, right? That would give us the 3. Now remember, right? The next expectation, right? It's not market is never obligated to do anything, right? Our expectation, if we complete the 3 up here, is that we'd set up for the 4, right? Now, if we're going to pull back to, even a 4-hour would do it, right? If we're going to pull back now. We've got this here just noted here, but if I'm going to measure for a Diag, right, I always want to look for a 50 from the start of the 1 through the pivot of the 3. Now, I don't have the pivot of the 3. I don't have it. We're going up here. This is where we would, this would be certainly a technical target. This would be length of the A projected from the B. This would be 100% up here. What is that? 72.9. So that would be just on the other side of a new all-time high. And you can... It's not an unreasonable thought that we might sweep that high, get retail. sorry, retail, but that's what you do. Right? Get retail all fired up. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. And, we come down here and then through the election. Then what's on the other side of it? Right? This is, again, I don't not to repeat myself, but I think this is going to be a shit show. So okay, all right. So where do we go here? Again, this is traditional, right? If we're just going to go with it. This is pretty much a very common count. Many Elliotticians, right? I was very reluctant to go with this because I didn't like the 3 here. But it sure looks like that's what we're going to do, right? We're going to do a leading Diag. Now, before you settle into that and say, well, leading Diag it is, I want you to consider this count. This came up in the live stream Wednesday. I want to say this was a member. I know there's a couple of members that gave me additional thoughts on this. Never look back. And God, I can't remember if it was Wonka. Somebody had teed this up here, and it was really creative thinking. So let me show you this. Okay, right. So the struggle, right, for any traditional Elliottician here looking at this is how are we finishing here? Oh shit, is 4 going to do it? Let's get to an 8. Maybe I need an 8 here. How are we going to get this done here, right? So if this, it just didn't look right. So again, right, as I remind you, right, our focus is not to be right with our analysis. It's not really, that's not the point. That's not the goal. The goal is to be profitable. So it's to fight against this count. I've struggled with this counter. I just did not see Bitcoin starting with a 3 here, right? But again, I don't fight it at this point, but I do think that there's an alternate here that kind of gives you a way to reconcile with this unusual start, particularly for an asset like Bitcoin. It's not that a leading Diag is unusual. It's maybe a little bit unusual for Bitcoin, but that could be my own bias, right? I was anticipating something impulsive off the low. Okay, well, here's the way that we can solve this and get into a Diag. So we're going to go, oh shit, I got it. Oh, I don't have you all the way up here. Hang on. So we're going to go WXY down here. Must have taken that off, right? So we're going to go ABC, 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 gets us into the Y, and here's the 4, right? And then we go into a 3, right? And we go into this Diag, right? That still may be the count. Again, from some of my members, right? Then this is, I love these guys, right? Because they're constantly, there's so much idea exchange in our Discord, right? Somebody got to this and looked at it, and I'll be damned. So take a look at this if we do this in a line chart. Right? I think this resolves a lot, and it creates a more interesting and a more bullish scenario here. Well, if we do this via a line chart, you can get the thing done right here. And in fact, if we're just using closes, right, that's all I'm doing, is just using closing, ABC into a W, ABC into an X, ABC into a Y, ABC into an X, ABC into a Z, where we double bottom. The punch here, right, was all wick. Right, I've just noted it here. This is the lowest close. Pardon me. These two are perfect close double bottom. So if you go back here, oh, So now, but the thing that does is solves my wrestling with this, right? Again, fuck, I'm not here to tell you I'm right. That just surprised me. So I wasn't particularly aggressive in looking to add, but now as I sit here looking at this creates a different scenario. If this is the 4, and we're not trying to do this as a Diag, 1, 2. Whoa, did this just get more interesting? 3, 4. Now, okay, well, if we're doing this, if this is the 3 and the 4, and are we going to complete up here? If we're doing this as an impulse, well, okay, here we're looking at 84. Now that's on the daily, and that's in log scale, right? If I take it out, still up in these upper 8. In fact, for this, right, as we're focused right here, you don't need to be in log scale, right? We don't have 4 times the range that we're looking at from 53 to this. We got, maybe twice the range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you're Michael Saylor, right, who's not a technician, is this going to be 5 or the 1 of 5? Right. If it's the 5, right, we would anticipate a deeper correction. Now, what could cause that? Let's come all the way back here. Right. If this is going to be the 5 up here, and we're going to do a full 50% correction, which again, market is not obligated to do that. That'd put us down here at, call it 40K, right into something like this. Unmitigated demand here. Oh, let's call it demand, right? We've got this unmitigated order flow here that's been untouched. What could cause that? In 25. Well, I'm not going to fill in the blanks there, right? I probably have expressed my views here more than I should have, right? But I think that is not crazy to anticipate enough insanity going on, whether U.S., global, enough, right, where risk assets could be out of favor. I'm going to say as gently as I can. Do I know this? Do I think this is coming? No, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it did, right? So it's just important that you don't lose track of, okay, if we're completing an impulse here, what do we anticipate next? 40K. That's what we anticipate. Now, if, again, take it out of log scale, it's not, let's see if I do it this way, right? So here's to put us in the golden zone. Well, we could be, if we do it out of log scale, right, does it make a big difference if we do it this way, right? 56. And that's assuming, right, maybe we're overly aggressive here. Right? Again, until we have this, right, and we can confirm, are we going from this, are we doing this in an impulse, right? It would put us up here again, 87. If we're out of log scale, maybe we're coming down here to 55. Do we need log scale? Well, it's more than 4 times the range, right? So pick your poison. I would probably do something like that. Oh, I'd have to double it. Let me clone it. For the ridge here, up for this, down for this. Again, market's not obligated. I just want you to keep, I don't want you to get completely overextended here, over levered, overly optimistic, right? It's just, what if you complete an impulse, what usually happens next? Now you can say, well, Bitcoin's a different beast. Is it really? Is it? People trading it, people own it, then the same shit you can expect, right? Because Elliott Wave is not about forecasting through magic chart art. It's what do people typically do? Fear and greed. Well, we're in full greed mode. Plenty of fear factor potential out in the future. Okay, with that said, let me pause there. It's probably enough on Bitcoin. Okay, I pulled up one of my faves, right? You guys know that I like these guys. Highly recommend them, right, for a crypto trader, if you're interested. And you want to support the channel, if you're not a member, right, links below, and we get a little kicker from that, just for full disclosure. I always come over to this hot list and see if there's something new here. Now, all of these have been in the hot list for the last couple of weeks, with one exception. That's Aptos has just made it to the list here of the hot list here. Obviously, we've already looked at Bitcoin. QNT, we'll take a look at. XMR, I don't. It's just sideways. I don't see it. Op and BONK, we'll take a look at. So let's go to the newest member here of the hot list, and that would be Aptos. Is kind of interesting. Okay, so I'm here. I'm over here on BloFin. It would appear that we're done here, or at least we have a contender to be done. So let's finish this. Take a look here. Now I don't have full history, right? So, but I know I have a good low here. So I got an impulse. I got a 2. I got an impulse. I got a 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. Well, 96 years later. Not much has changed. Okay, right. So it would look like, now you could make a case here that there could be another kick here, and that this is all some sort of a complex 4 going in here. It's hard to call that, right? If we're going to continue to roll here, okay, right? There could be another kick in that. But do you want to buy it up here? All right, let me just drop. Oh, my log. Yeah, I'm in log. Sorry. Right. So let's keep it. That's the pain in the ass of log. Oh, 50 for log, right? So here's our premium discount. We want to be a buyer up here. Well, there's really not much more you could work with. Now, sometimes if you have a pronounced 2, right, and 3, 4, right, you could maybe slide this up and say, okay, between the 2 and the 4, right, maybe we get something deeper here to give you that, right, so you can stay consistent with only buying in the discount, right. If you've got a new PD array here from the 2, but since we've got just going a straight shot, you really can't do that. So you've got to work from, well, do what you like here, but my suggestion would be, let's work dominant to dominant, right? If this is 50%, right, that's on the assumption that we're done here, right? That we've got some sort of squish. Now you could certainly see how this could keep rolling, right? If alts are going to start to go here, but well, whenever we get this 5 here, again, it's just like Bitcoin, right? What do we anticipate after we complete, right? So at least 50. Again, I'm never telling you the market is going here because it's obligated to, because we completed a 5th, right? It's just statistically, right? Why would you not consider what they normally do, or what 90? How many years we got? Well, it's for Elliott Wave, right? 96, 7 years, crypto, right? Its entire history, right? It's certainly prone to retrace to 50s or golden zone. So, oh shit, I think we've got this one right here. I think this is that's a 50, but if I bring in a golden. Right, certainly right in the pocket. Again, what do they usually do? Why would you, careful about trading abnormal? Okay, so we've got a pretty nice looking impulse that's going in here. It looks like it's contender to be finished, but if it's going to come down a little bit lower, that might be the buy opportunity. So one for your watch list, right? What nice looking trend underway here. Okay, so let me back to the hot list here. Oh, let's go look at QNT, because this is one I am in. Not that should matter. Let me, let's get that off of there. Oh, fuck, here, hang on. I don't want symbol or crosshairs. Let's get it off. Okay, I've got a daily and a 4-hour, again, both on BloFin, right? So you can see on the larger degree. As you'll note, I will continually remind you, right, when I'm looking at a Diag, I'm looking for the 4 at the 50, right, from the start of the 1 through the pivot of the 3. Now, again, do I know we're going to get a Diag here? No, but I have certainly a low-risk contender here, just the kind of thing we look for. I got a target up here. I could give it, that max I would give it was a little under the golden zone. You see, we could come down here and do this, right? We're not going to invalidate. We don't invalidate until we sweep this low, right? Then it's an ABC, and we're going lower, but right, you don't get certainty. So what do you get? Now, if it's me, right, if I was looking at this fresh here, I might put 50% in, 50% in here and another 50% here a little bit deeper, right? Stop on maybe 707. It's pretty pretty deep for a 4, but it's a Diag. Right, so things we want to look for, right, whenever you're considering a trade, right, is this liquidity down here? Certainly has the feel of a lot of liquidity being grabbed here with all these rejection wicks. So, that's not necessarily, right, a lunar shot, but these are the kind of things that we want to see at lows. Right? We talked about this a lot lately. Sweep, sweep, sweep. All right, are we going? Well, now you don't have to sit here, right? It's just if you're entering now, right, potentially the risk is lower. If you wait for something like this, right, you're waiting for this to come back down somewhere in this range. So it's not a dramatic difference, but it depends how aggressive you are and how aggressive you want to be with quant. That's the daily. Let's go to the 4-hour. Right here, we've got all of this imbalance here from the original launch, right? So ABC, this got a little funky. ABC into the 3, ABC. Looks like we've got the low in here, so 1, 2. So if we look in there, I mean, this is very viable. Well, I couldn't get much closer. It couldn't get much closer, so that 5 is down here. Here's the 4, 1 just barely snuck by. That's a 4. Let's go to a 1. Just barely got out of there without sweeping that low, right? When they get that close, it's shocking that they don't get it. Right? It's they being the algos. Okay, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we'll probably do it here. A, B, pick your. You're not going to get any separation there. Only thing I can say with certainty is that we didn't sweep the 2. Right? So I've got a candidate here, very low risk for a long. You're right in the pocket here between the golden zone and the 50. If it's going to go, I mean, the risk reward here is, it's because that's so tight. You can put your, well, here, we'll put it right here. That would be a target. Absolutely no reason to be a tick beyond that, right? So there's 5 to 1, right? Assuming we get a traditional 3 out of this, 1, 2, right? You don't tick and shit. I mean, you can be 1 tick below. You might a couple of ticks, right? Don't get swept, and then they go. One for the watch list here, I would encourage you to keep an eye on this one, right? If you're not, in a position to add to it, certainly, you might wait for a little more traction here, right? So you might, where's the algo going to be targeting, right? We got doubles here, right? So clear liquidity here. So you can see it going up for that. So that could be the 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 of 3, sweep it. 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys know how that goes, right? So, but you're right in the pocket there. Now, just when you have something like that, there's real uncertainty there. So, the stop is critical. Don't just buy this here without a stop. This could pump down. This could roll over again. I mean, this. Oh shit! This could be. Well, it does look like it's done. I don't know. If I got stopped out here, I've already got some of this. But if I get stopped out here, I'd reevaluate here. I'd wait. I'd want to see if we're going to do it down here, do it down here. But you got a very low risk trade right there. Very low risk. Some of these, again, we're going back because we've looked at them over the last couple of weeks. Next up is optimism, right? Still on the hot list. Where are you, optimism? I've got some of this. You probably understand why. 1, A, B, C into the 2. 1, 2, 3, some sort of a triangle gets it, or shit, doesn't matter. Something in here, some sort of squishy, we just go sideways, right? We don't progress the trend. Oh, there's the 4 up for the 5, right? So what do we do there? Is it ABC of 3, right? Via the Diag, right? As so many alts have done. Well, here you actually can do it as an impulse. 1, 2, ABC into the 3. Doesn't matter. You could do this as ABC because you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. You could do it. Doesn't matter really. Here's the 1, 2. That's clearly ABC, AB clear impulse. Double in the golden zone. Double dip there. Okay, all right. That's. Looks like you got a completed ABC here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the A. 3 in the B. Down for the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. This is a good. Right. It immediately launches right here, and we see imbalance. Sure. Well, we know the algo's here, right? Obviously. So let's consider where they might look next. Could we be done here? We could. It's a little skinny on the 2. We might have something like this here, looking for that to come and complete up here. So a little pullback here might be something to keep your eye on. Another one, again, I'm just going off the hot list, right? So I'm not cherry picking these. I was like, what are these guys like? I've had very good luck. Luck's the wrong word, right? They've done very well. They do. I mean, and click on any of these, right? I mean, here's the inspection. Here's the technical reasons for why it's on their hot list. right? I mean, there's a lot. This is a really, it's all classic TA, right? It's traditional. You're not going to find any Elliott Wave on here or any ICT or any of the. It's all very traditional, classic rock, classic TA is what it is. But there's all sorts of additional information. If you've never been on the site, right, I strongly encourage you to at least do a trial. It's a great site, great for idea generation. So let me get back here, and then what have we not looked at here? Let's go look at BONK here. So bear with me a sec. Here's BONK over on BloFin. It looks here's just the classic sweep and go spring for the Wyckoff fans. 1, 2. Here's the impulse. Now, see, you could interpret this a couple of different ways, but because this we come off of this impulsive, with a Diag, and it's a 5, it makes me think that we're done here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, obviously 3 in the B, and it looks up. Sure, that's Al. Hi, Al. All right, so there's Al. Right, he doesn't get his target. Right, he gets stopped out, but that's the reason we go down there. So 3 in the B, down for the C. Right, so I've got a candidate here for the 4. Now it's a little bit more separated than I prefer. And I considered, right, it's hard to finish it. If you're trying to squish it in here and do it this way, I mean, it's perfectly valid thought. Oh, shit. Is it this one? It's perfectly valid thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C into the 2. I don't know that it matters, right? The only way it's going to matter is in terms of what you're projecting here. Are we projecting for a 3, 4, 5 or just for a 5? It seems a little cleaner to do it this way. Oh shit, let's see if I can get it done now. To put the 4 down here and be targeting the 5 up here. Because this impulse is beautifully self-contained, right? This one here, if we bring this down here. I like the impulses, right? I shouldn't, it's not a matter of what I like, right? It's just where I have the best success is when I see tight channel contained impulses, right? That's when I lock in, and at least in my mind's eye, right? Based on my experience, when I see an impulse like that, I don't want to attach over here. If I can avoid it. Well, obviously there are times when the market's not going to give you that choice because this looks to me like a completed impulse. So you're kind of stuck with, A, B, C into the 2, completed impulse. Double bottom at, what did we do, a 50 there? Was it a 50 or gold? Oh, let's see. Was it a golden? Of course it was a golden. Okay, so do you see the judgment call you've got to make here? Oh, well, that's exactly where you'd expect a 2. Now, it's not like a 1 can't go, or pardon me, a 4 has never gone that far deep, right? Obviously they do, right? But again, does it matter? If you're a bull here, how is that influencing your decision making? Well, if it's 4 and we've just completed a Diag here, we got a long way to go to get to 5. Here, let's take this up a degree so I don't confuse them. Let's go up. Oh, come here. Oh, that's fine. Here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So bigger target. Then if this is 1, 2, well, now we'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? It's just a question. It's just a high class problem to have. Well, what we can see with certainty is if I go dominant low to dominant high, double into the golden zone, right? So first here, and then they sweep it on the second visit to get, here's 618, here's golden zone, right? So that's, right, if you want the footprints of an algo, there they are right there, right? So it almost doesn't matter how you're going to read that, right? Interpret this as you like. Into the 4, right? We don't sweep the 1, right? So it's perfectly valid here, but we start off, we come out of it with, oh, it looks like we got a sequence going here. So we come out of this with a Diag. Right, it's a little tricky. 1, 2, 3. 3 is just barely longer than 1. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks like a good 1. A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, shit, you'll see this a little bit easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Right? Is this 3, 4, 5? Well, she got a candidate, right? So what are we looking at here? If this is A, do I have a B here? This would be an awfully good C with the target from this algo on top of the golden zone, right? So, these are algo footprints, right? This is the advantage of tracking this. You know what they did last and where their targets are, right? Again, 6 years of doing this, I cannot imagine anyone watching a video of mine and not tracking that. That's inconceivable to me. I've shown it 25, 30,000 times. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, right? Got a good 5. I wouldn't call that a 3. So this is one of those like, oh, fuck, right? Is it going to go? Well, it might, right? I'm not saying this can't go. I'm never saying that. But I've got a great contender here. I'm not saying short it, right? Because what if we're doing something bigger, right? Take this out. What if this is going to be an A? We're going to have a bigger B, and we're going to do it this way, right? You got to visualize all the options here. That's got to shit. What am I on 1? This could be a 5, right? You can see it. So maybe we're going to do an ABC like this. Well, I've got an A, so this could be A, B, C of a B. We could expand the B. So don't lock and load on like, well, there we are. Well, it's got to be a 3. So looks like it could be a 5, right? So this could still be here, and this still be here, and this still be here. Shit, do I have to go to a 15? 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I done? And again, right? It's careful with that. We're just on a smaller degree. A, B, C is what we'd be looking at there. Let's go blue-green here, right? So if we're going to come up to this and then come down, right? So this is the sucker rally. Be careful here. And how do you get suckered into that, right? If you're not I would propose to you, right? This is where Elliott Wave analysis gives you a huge advantage, because I don't care oh shit, where are they? Is it here? Here, right? If you're going to call this corrective, right, you're setting yourself up to have an unpleasant trading experience. I'm not saying that we must come down here. I'm saying that would be a forced read of the market. That certainly looks impulsive. So A, and this kind of looks impulsive. Well, so how do I get out of here? If this is a 1, if we completed a 5 here and I've got 5 here, right, we begin and end, right? So am I beginning something here? I'm not likely to be ending something here. I ended the A wave here, but this sure, I mean, we could count it, right? It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, working on that 5. Now, obviously, that's way too big, right? But it looks like we've got something like that going in. Clear, we get a classic 4. Where's the 4, right? We stop progressing the trend. We stall, right? What does the market do, right? It's all it ever does, right? We go up, we expand, we contract, we expand, we contract, right? We go from expansion to consolidation, expansion, consolidation, expansion, right? It's all it ever does, right? It's all it ever can do. So there we go, right? So we're just careful about, filling in it's going to go, right? So that would be called FOMO, which is never what you want, right? You want to be mindful of it, right? You don't want to be so afraid of it that you're you can never pull the trigger. But again, you're going to call that corrective? Call it what you like, but I would encourage you to think twice about that. Okay, right? So as we come back this direction, right, we know we're going to have Al's going to give us some resistance, right? So maybe we're doing the A here, down for the B, and we go for something higher here. A lot of different ways that could play out, right? So here's what I would say with absolute conviction: don't buy right now. Don't buy into a golden zone. That's just, you're just asking for trouble there, right? And let's say you do it, as you hear me say this every week, if you do it and you get away with it, that's much worse, right? Because then you'll do it again and again and again, and eventually that will eat your account, and you'll be reloading. So my strong suggestion is never buy into a golden, right? Why would you do that, right? There's never a reason to do it ever, right? Other than FOMO got the better of you. Okay, so what do I get there? So we got BONK, we got OP, QNT, Bitcoin, Aptos. Let's finish up here with the S&P. Okay, I'm on it. This is the continuation chart of the ES. So this is the futures. Okay, I'm pulling off of the what was this, August, end of summer low, as we've just gone into this last kick here, right? So we're going back to the big push, the retrace here. This is such a great example of resistance, right? And then finally the gap that gets through it. So 1, 2, perfect 50, right? The S&P does like the 50. We've got all of this divergence here. All of this divergence here. Now divergence, right, that can change, right? That can kick up and go higher. But as we sit here looking at this, let's go to a 2 hour here and look at this a little bit more detail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with all of this. Listen, I'd love to be wrong. I would love that we have non-confrontational election and everybody goes about their business. If anybody's thinking that's what's going to happen, you've been under a rock for a long time. 1, 2, 3. Is that 3? Certainly a good contender for a 4. So coming out of this, let's go down to a 30 and see what we can make of this last bit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Looks like that's your 2 here. I got to zoom in there a little bit. This is the lower low, right? So you can see what they did here, right? There's the sweep of liquidity, and then there's the failure swing, right? So we lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower change of character, right? So here we get a change, right? Although just depending on the degree, right? It doesn't matter. Market structure shift, right? We're coming down here, sweep liquidity. That's just what you want to look for, just like you saw it down here. Same idea. Do they sweep the liquidity here at the lows, then launch, right? It's almost never fails, right? It's the pattern you want to look for. Just grab liquidity and then something, and then displacement, right? So the shorts get absolutely ass raped, right? So they put their stops right there. Boom, they grab the liquidity and off the other direction. So if you were trying to long it, or if you longed anywhere in here, what are they doing, right? They're literally, it's what happens in the market, right? You can't fight it, right? Or you'll just be a victim to it. So where's the liquidity? Where's the liquidity now? Well, this just got swept, right? So, right here, that's a break of structure, right? So that's a break of structure up. What happened? What do we anticipate after a break of structure? Retrace. This got close, right? But it didn't get, come here. Did not get it, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, there's your 4, 5. A, B, C, it's a little skinny. Well, what would you be thinking now? Well, are you thinking this? Not saying it's not possible. Right, 6,000 has a nice ring to it as we pull out here to a 4-hour and see where we could be going with this. This would be, so right now as looking at it here, the extension's in the 1, 2, 3 is much shorter than 1. So here we have invalidation where the 5th would be longer than the 3rd. Right, always a reminder, right? 3 does not have to be the longest, just can't be the shortest. Here, 3 would be the shortest, right, for any impulse here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You might keep that in mind, right? And I don't know that we're going up here, but just so you would want to have something marked there. We're already, so from the 50 to the tick here, Jesus Christ, look at this, from tick to tick, right? Algo gets paid. Now we go sideways here, and it looks like we go in second target or just another series that's going in here. Hard to know, right? So as we look at this, certainly that second target up here for this 5th. But then, okay, are we seeing signs of divergence, right? Because this certainly looks like it's a wedge. Right, 1, 2, 3. 3 pushes up to complete the wedge, going into crazy town with divergence, with a big fat round number here of 6,000. My anticipation is that here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up and sweep the round number here, and then we're going to start the retrace. And people are, every time we do this, people are going to, A, B, everything's fine. I'll let you fill in the blanks there. Do you want to buy it or short it here? Well, I think probably neither, right? If you're not already long. Again, be careful about assuming, we're going to go and sweep this high, because what would this be? Just another break of structure. And what do we anticipate after a break of structure? Retrace, right? So at some point, retrace is going to be deeper. So just a little cautionary counsel to suggest that you don't overextend going into uncertainty, right? What's the one thing the market hates? Uncertainty. What do we have coming up here? Massive global uncertainty, right? About as uncertain as in my lifetime as the markets have ever been. And let me rephrase that. Not only is this uncertain, the impacts here of the outcome of the election are as dramatic as I've ever seen in my lifetime, 63 years. So fingers crossed, right, that this is smooth. I probably express more of my political bias than I should, right, including on Twitter, but it's hard for me not to. So, okay, right, 6,000, good target here. but then I wouldn't be overly aggressive beyond that. Okay, guys, with that, I'll wrap. Hope you picked up a few nuggets, maybe a few ideas for your lives or for your watch list. And I'll be back for a live stream on Wednesday. Thanks to all the guys that have been contributing, and big thanks to the guys that helped. Again, as members that came up with this idea to get us comfortably into the idea that we're into a 1-2, right? And that we resolve here that conflict that Elliotticians have been struggling with there. How are we starting this with a Diag? But there we go. Okay, guys, have a good one. I'll catch you next week.